Hey guys, what's up? Drew Burks here. Today I want to tell you about a very simple 4-step framework to building an online business that's profitable. You see, over the years I've worked with dozens and dozens of clients in as many different niches, and what I found is without this framework, people tend to get stuck. They tend to hit roadblocks, and what happens when you get stuck, right? You don't get at launch, you don't make money. And so I've developed this 4-step framework out of necessity to keep my own projects going, but also to help clients to go from being stuck to making money. So the first step is strategy. Now listen, this is not a strategy to take over the world. This is not a strategy to generate millions of dollars. That would be nice, but most people need a strategy to go from ground zero to making money, right? So the first thing is strategy. Now, what you want to do, if you are the type of person that has this grand vision, right? You can see 10 years out in the future, then you want to use the layer concept, right? You want to develop your strategy in layers so that you can plug and play things. Now, this is important because a couple of years ago, I was working with one of the ClickFunnels 8-figure award winners, and they had a development agency, and they were charging clients obscene amounts of money, and they were developing these fantastic strategies. The problem was most of them never got launched because they didn't design things or use a strategy to design things in a layered concept. There was no plug and play, which meant if there were 13 pieces to get done, you couldn't launch any of them until all 13 pieces were done. And so that creates a lot of content and overwhelm and frustration. So you want to start with a strategy to go from A to B and a strategy from B to C. And again, if you have this grand 7, 8, 10-figure model, you want to do it in layers. So chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3. And the best concept I've ever heard of this, I heard from a guy named Brad Martineau, who owns 6 Division, and he called it the Lego principle. So listen, I have 2 small kids. We have a lot of Legos in the house. And if you go buy a Lego set today, you'll find that there are going to be 1,100 pieces in that Lego box. And inside that box, there might be 10 different bags. Bag number 1, bag number 2, bag number 3, etc. Each bag will have a number on it. Each bag will have a set of Legos in there, a certain number of Legos, and an instruction booklet. And it's amazing because you just focus on bag 1, and you follow the instructions, and you put the 50 or 60 pieces together, and you move on to bag 2. And before you know it, a 4, 5, 6-year-old kid can have 1,100 Lego pieces put together and have this incredible, elaborate whole town built in Lego. So use the kind of Lego principle or the layered concept to create your strategy. Step 2 is build it. Now, people get stuck here because either A, they don't have a strategy and they don't know what they're building. 2, they haven't used a checklist, meaning they don't have all the assets gathered that they need to build. So some examples. They don't have their logo and their branding and their color schemes. They don't have product images. So you want to make sure you have a really good checklist for what you're building. And here's a tip. If in the strategy, if you map that out, either on pen and paper or a whiteboard or a tool like Glyphy or Lucidchart, and you just map out the funnel, you can use that as a project management tool. So you can say, oh, in my funnel, I have 3 pages. So on each page, I need a logo and a product image and a headline and a call to action button, whatever those are. Now, if you don't have a checklist like that, let me know and I can tell you how to get them. But step 1, strategy, right? What are you building? A to B. Use the Lego principle to put it in layers or phases if you need to. Step 2 is get it built. Now, you want to collect everything you need, all the collateral, the copy, the images, the branding, all of that up front so you can build quick. The other reason people get stuck here is that they get stuck in perfectionist mode. Here's the thing, imperfect action always beats perfect planning. Done is better than doing. You have to get it built as quick as possible because only after you get it built can you launch it. And that's step 3, launch it. Now, if you have an email list and an audience, you can do a launch like that, like a pre-launch, and you can get that out there and generate some quick revenue, and you can use that revenue to then pay for the ad spend on the big launch. But here's a tip. You're only ever going to be able to scale and have predictable and consistent income once you've launched with cold traffic. That's the key. You have to launch with cold traffic because that's the only way you really are going to have the evidence you need to know that the funnel is tested, that's going to convert, right? Because your warm audience, they already know you, like you. They're going to be a little easier to convert than someone that doesn't know you. So step 3 is launch. Now step 4, this is where people make a lot of money or people just make a little bit of money. This is a big difference. And I can tell you it's in the stage 4 is where back in 2014, October 2014, we did over $220,000 in the first 10 days, and it was because of stage 4. Stage 4 is optimize and tweak. Now I want you to picture these 4 steps: strategy, build, launch, optimize, in a circle. So many people start an online business and they think it's linear, right? They go, I got a strategy, I built it, I launched it, and now it's just working. But that's the difference. That thinking is flawed. That's the difference between 4 and 5 figures and 7 and 8 figures. You have to constantly be tweaking and adjusting and optimizing. And this is not to say that you won't get to a point where you're content, like it's just enough money, you don't need anymore, and that's okay. But what happens more times than not is people will get a strategy, they'll build it, they'll get it launched, they'll spend a couple $100 in ads, they'll make a couple $1,000, and then they'll say, this didn't work, right? I didn't make millions of dollars. I don't have a Lamborghini. I don't have a private jet. I don't have a private island, all this nonsense. And the fact is you have to have the expectation and the mindset that you have to continually tweak and optimize, right? You got to look at the pages. You got to change, look at the offers, look at pricing, look at email copy. And sometimes it even will require completely changing that. And it's a circle because in the optimize, you might decide the strategy sucked. You need a new strategy, or you might decide the offer wasn't great. You need to build new order pages. So it's just ongoing. And so that's it. That's my 4-step framework. I use it every day. It also helps me eliminate some overwhelm and frustration because sometimes I still, and I see it in a lot of people's, I will be thinking strategy thoughts and dwelling over that, but really I'm in the build phase. And I shouldn't be thinking about strategy, I should be focused on build, right? And that shows up for entrepreneurs because shiny object syndrome, right? Like, oh, that's good, I'll do that. So you have to create the strategy, stick to it, build it, launch it, and optimize. So hopefully you guys found this valuable. Share your comments below, and I will see you on the next video. All right, thanks.